Hello, Prof. This is Tombwen Sang Kumbom, and this is a digital presentation for the benchmark project management methodology reflection. So I'll just go right straight into it. Uh, so this is my topic page. It says it gives you the topic we are on, benchmark project management methodology, and the professor's name, Christopher Gentry, and the course title, and then of course my name and the date of today. So our first slide is about project management methodology that my team chose and the rationale for its effectiveness. So I have a little digital display over here to the right, which gives you a picture of how the Scrum methodology works, which is actually the methodology that my team chose. So my team chose the Scrum methodology for our IT project since our vision statement is to provide a wireless infrastructure that is both powerful and effective, or powerful and efficient for our students, faculty, and staffs, and that will be suitable to operate on current network standards. So the rationale for its effectiveness in managing our IT project comes from the very definition of the methodology, of the Scrum methodology. Scrum is an agile development methodology used in the development of software based on an iterative and incremental process. That is from GDT in 2023. So the idea we have is to satisfy our project owners, which is of course Lopes College, need through an environment of transparency and communication, collective responsibility, and continuous progress. Now that we have a general idea of what is needed, which has been converted into our vision statement, we use the Scrum methodology to break down the project into little pieces that we can focus on for a given period of time, say between 1 to 4 weeks, ideally between 2 to 4 weeks. These pieces are called sprints. That's the name the Scrum methodology gives to those pieces or iterations that you break down the whole process in. So we will have weekly sprint meetings, which you will see in our next slide. Have weekly sprint meetings, which will help the management of the project in evaluating if we will be able to meet deadline on sprints and if we are doing an effective work, because it's not only about meeting deadline, but it's also about doing an effective work. We will also be transparent with the project owner and encourage direct and open communications with them so that they know exactly where we are at each point. And at the end of each sprint, if the project owner is satisfied, we can deliver that part of the project and move to the next, which is the idea of having sprint anyway, so that when you break down a project into these sectors, which are called sprint or iterations, you can focus all your resources on each sprint for a period of ideally between 2 to 4 weeks. And then this can be delivered at the end of each sprint, independent of the final project, so that when you finish this sprint, you can deliver it if it's necessary. So these pieces are, oh, sorry. And at the end of each sprint, if the project owner is satisfied, we can deliver that part of the project and move to the next. If they are not satisfied, we can make recommended changes to meet satisfaction. This is all part of the Scrum methodology, and it makes managing our IT project effective, which is one of the rationales why we chose this methodology. Scrum methodology is very popular for software development, but it's being used by other sectors for its effectiveness and easy to use. That's why we use it as well. That is why we chose it. Another reason we chose this methodology is how it breaks down the roles of the people working on it. So that we have the role of the project owner, the product owner, sorry, who is of course the Lopes College. The Scrum Master will be the leader of the project, and then you have the Scrum team. We have different members of the teams. All these roles work hand in glove to see the success of the project. So the next slide here is how Scrum methodology effectively supports the IT project vision statement, and an example of how it will help communicate the IT vision statement. So over here to the left, you see a diagram of how the Scrum methodology works. So the need for Scrum, the product owner, which in this case is Lopes College, and then the Scrum teamwork, There's a Scrum Master, there's a Scrum Brainstorm, which is also part of the Scrum team. And then on the middle left here, you see the sprint, which is what they call the iterations of the product that has been broken down to function on them individually. So let's take a step back to look at the IT project mission statement: to provide a wireless infrastructure that is both powerful and efficient for all students, faculty, and staff, and that will be able to work on current network standards. Looking at this statement and the Scrum methodology, it feels like a match made in heaven. Why? Because to provide a wireless infrastructure that is both powerful and efficient for all students, faculty, and staff, and that will be able to work on current network standards, we will need a methodology that breaks down the project into individual parts or sprints, as I've explained before, that can be worked upon separately and delivered when needed. This is exactly what the Scrum methodology gives us. The vision statement also needs a methodology that will have the product owner involved and informed on every step of the way and encourage open communication and transparency. Again, the Scrum methodology gives us that, a good reason why we chose it. This methodology will help us communicate the IT vision statement by giving us the opportunity to work this project in iterations or sprints so that we can deliver each sprint to the product owner and have them see what the project is at that level and what it will look like at its final conclusion. For example, we intend to start by upgrading all switches in the Lobs College network system and move up from there. When that stage is completed, we will deliver to the product owner, and they can test it to get a taste of what the final project would be like. So move on to the fourth slide right here. On the right, you see a diagram which speaks about leadership. So you have different leadership skills that are pointed out on the diagram there. You have motivation, you have mentor, you have ethic, you have responsibility, you have teamwork, communication, and all the like. But then I chose to speak more on the human resources side of leadership skills. So there are quite a few other leadership skills that I would need to use to effectively manage the IT project in terms of diversity, effectiveness, and responsiveness. I will talk of the following few: motivation and inspiring. And inspiring. The vision is being developed by the leader after he or she gets the user story. The user story is a picture of what the stakeholder or the product owner expects, to see at the end of the project, which is usually called a user story, and then continually communicates that vision with the rest of the team and working with them to achieve this vision. Leaders have to be able to motivate and inspire their team by keeping people enthusiastic in doing their work and focused on the product vision. By encouraging team members and telling them simple words like "you believe in them" can change a team member's attitude and make them to contribute more. An example would be in the case of diversity, where in our current project, a woman might feel out of place because of the rhetoric that IT projects are for men, which is actually what is happening in some places. Women feel out of place when they are working in an IT project because they have this stereotype that the information technology war is for men. So if, for example, we have a woman in our team, a team leader can encourage a female team member and show her their support. She will feel more comfortable at work, and that will affect her input. Team building. Leaders have to help the team members help each other as they make their individual and group input towards achieving the project goals. The final thing here is always the project goals, but how do we arrive at the project goals? So leaders can always support and encourage team members to support themselves and one another so that we can achieve these goals. Negotiating and communicating. Since we have different roles, the leader or Scrum Master has the responsibility to make sure that every member of the team, irrespective of their role, can work with one another effortlessly with the sole purpose of effectively achieving the project goals. Leaders should be able to create a project environment where team members can be honest and open in communication. This will encourage effectiveness in the project. For example, If the stakeholder or project owner is not able to communicate openly and honestly with the team that what he or she was expecting for a particular sprint is not what is being delivered, the team will get a false notion that they are doing a wonderful job, of which they're not. This will challenge the aspect of effectiveness, so that leaders should always encourage a negotiation and open communication so that we have transparency. Everybody knows what is being expected of them. Everybody knows if they are doing the right thing, so that we will achieve that the goal of the project. And lastly, I talked about listening and influencing. Leaders should be active listeners who can understand and consider team members' perspective before making a team decision. This speaks to the aspect of responsiveness. It is not enough to be able to communicate by telling team members what to do. You should be able to listen to them and get their own perspective. An example here would be the case where a team leader is working by the PMBOK guide, which is one of the project management guides, and the team member has a better idea that could make the work even more effective. If the team leader cannot listen to this team, he will miss out on such an idea that could be a game changer. I remember I talked about this very point in the lecturer talked about this very point in our discussion forum, and I responded to it. Following the PMBOK guide is wonderful, but we should not close our minds to new ideas. Things change every day. So if a leader can be uh, responsive enough and listen to other people's perspective, he can have new information that will help to change the shape of the project. And with that, we come to the end, which is the references. Thank you. Oh no, not here. Sorry.